My name is Daniel, but people call me Danny. Born and raised in Mexico till the age of 17. That's when made up my mind to come into America. If I can be brutally honest, I was here illegally, had to work under a different name. I had no worker's permit, but I had to survive, and that's kind of what I did. And a few months after I got here and started working, there was a church in the neighborhood that was doing outreach in the trailer park where I lived. And I remember just being outside, getting high. I was lost. I had been addicted to drugs since the age of 13. I remember this church came and they were just going trailer by trailer, and they stopped at ours and they asked me how I was doing. I had to pretend I was fine, and they noticed that there was something wrong with me. And they said, "Hey man, listen, we want to invite you to church." I said, yeah. When is it? They said, "Sunday." So I went to church that Sunday. And I remember just sitting in the back, and as I'm sitting there and the pastor's preaching, I felt like nobody was there. And the church was packed, but I just felt like nobody was there. And I felt as if he was talking to me. And I remember just crying in the back, crying. I was lonely, I was afraid, I was stuck, I was in chains, I was in bondage, I was addicted. But I remember that day, like if it was today, just the message of the gospel, right, piercing my heart. At that moment, I felt that the Holy Spirit was telling me, right, you're going to be a pastor one day. From the moment I gave my life to the Lord and the pastor started discipling me, and then I started serving in the church, and then I had to work in the morning, and then I went to do ESL classes, English as a second language classes at night. And then right afterwards, there was a GED class. Here I am learning English and at the same time trying to, be up to speed to the education of the United States, because I was in Mexico and I only went to 5th grade. So it was so hard, but that was like, that was like the step to like be able to go into ministry or study to be a pastor, right? And I was so passionate, so I'm sorry. It just brings back memories of those times because it was hard. Like being illegal in the country, right? It was tough. I'm so passionate about immigrants. I'm so passionate about serving the Latino community. That's why I'm so passionate about hurting those who struggle with addictions, those who, are lost, and because of where I come from. And I take it as, man, that's the journey that the Lord allowed me to go through to be able to now serve Him and serve His people, and to many, the least of these, right? Spanish-speaking people that are in the country and that come from other places that are, first-generation Latinos, we definitely feel out of place. We already assume that people don't want us here, right? We assume that. It might not be the case, but we assume that. So sometimes we're even afraid to make eye contact, right? Because it's like, no, I shouldn't be here. This is not my home. So how can the American church integrate the Latino church into what the Lord is doing, right? There are certain things that are obvious, right? Like utilizing resources and being generous above and beyond is that's a given. Like I think many churches do that. But one thing is the relational part. The gospel is about relationships. So it's what's going to make the difference is making the effort, right? To maybe you're not going to be the best of friends, but if you can somehow build a friendship or relationship with someone in your community that doesn't look like you, that might not have your background, your social status, right? And that you can start to build some type of relationship with them, it's going to be very impactful. Since the month of April, we started something called Capia, which is an all-Spanish church in the Chapelstreet campus. You guys have this thing at Chapelstreet that says "for where you are." For Capia, we decided to do something that's called "para todos y para donde estés," for everyone and for where you are. The thing is that in our culture, in the Latin American culture, when you come into a country that is not yours, you want to know if you are welcome, right? Because not many people feel welcome. So for us, we wanted them to know that they are welcome. There's a story about a young man who came to the Lord there, right? Lost, just like Danny when he was 17, lost, hurting, in pain, and gave his life to the Lord in one of our family nights that we had, one of our worship nights. And 2 weeks ago, he got baptized there outside of the Chapelstreet campus. We did it just for him, but we did something very special for him. And his family was there, and it was just awesome. His family is restored. He's serving the Lord. He's has been healed. You know, it's just amazing to see, right? That we haven't even started. People are already coming to the Lord and already getting baptized and being discipled. You know, and that's what Capia is all about. You know, just reaching the least of these, reaching those who are lost. It doesn't matter where you come from, right? And for us, doing it for him was like, man, this is not about the great numbers, but this is about that one soul, right, that needs to know Jesus. That same feeling that I had when I gave my life to the Lord and I was being called into ministry is the same feeling and the same confirmation and the same calling that I feel now that the Lord is calling us to do Capia. This was being prepared in Mexico, you know, at 13 years old when that kid was lost. Isn't the gospel amazing?